We'll call the meeting to order. Let the minute show that Trustee Brown is absent today. We have one correction and one update to the agenda. The correction 8D, the classified PARS has Maricela Aguri it says 2003. We need to change it to 2004 on the date. And item 5C, number 2, copies of the MOU for the preschool grant have been supplied. They're in your board packets in your little envelopes here. And then there's copies in the back. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll motion to approve.
Can I get a second? A second. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence. We will now convene a closed session. We will call the meeting to order at 6:04. There was no action taken at closed session. Item 4B, land acknowledgement.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So in the future, we will have a land acknowledgement during our opening session. We are waiting to confirm with Grayton Rancheria to make sure that we get it right. We want to make sure that we are acknowledging all the people. So they will be getting back to us shortly. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. All right, I'd like to bring our students up from UELF for the flag salute. Well,
If everyone in the audience could please stand. Put your right hand over your heart.
We're going to get ready to begin the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all right, thank you. So now we would like to call up Rancho Cotati High School for CTE.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
I'm Heather Ramey, the principal of Rancho Cotati High School, and I talked to you today about our CTE programs. That's what that slide says, CTE programs. This aligns with Goal 1 and Goal 2 of the LCAP. Our CTE programs are a major component of the programming we offer students at Rancho Cotati High School. So we always say that we want students, when they come into Rancho, to participate and complete a CTE program or an AP course of study. But more and more, as I'll show you tonight, we are combining those, and we're expecting and asking students to actually do both. And so when we talk about implementing a broad course of study, we're looking at trying to really meet all the interests of students as much as we can on campus to engage them in their high school education and get them through to graduation and success in college and career. So this might be small. I'm acknowledging actually maybe too small for you to read. You have a copy? Perfect. Okay, so right now we have 15 career technical education pathways at Rancho Cotati High School. Many of them are in the arts, as you can see on the left-hand side. And then many are in the professions. Each year we expand upon this. We grow our programming, both in depth, meaning that we make our pathways more robust, but also in breadth where we add programs each year. So for example, this year we have added an environmental science pathway. Next year we're hoping to add music. So we're taking, in some cases, existing programs and adding, in other cases building new programs entirely. The purpose of career technical education is just that, to really fully integrate a program for students where they're meeting their core graduation requirements while also being prepared for a career and a college education in that career field. So you'll see here we have film, filmmaking program, digital photo, 2D and 3D art. 3D art is sculpture, ceramics, 2D drawing, painting, scratchboard. We also have jewelry metal arts, which is another new program, which is very exciting, and the kids love it. It filled right away, and not just girls. I mean, it filled right away. It's really cool. They do soldering, they build things. Theater arts, CAD, Those are the arts programs. You'll see that in some of these arrows point to some classes that look duplicative. In filmmaking, for example, there's an advanced film course, which is the capstone course, but there's also an option within that course to take an honors course, which is articulated with Santa Rosa Junior College. What that means is that course, the advanced film course, is a course that is the same class that's taught at the JC, but it's taught by our teacher. And at the end of the course, students who would like to will take a final exam that will give them credit at Santa Rosa Junior College. They do have to pay the nominal fee, which we usually cover for them. There's 2 pathways which currently have articulation agreements like that. The other one is fashion design and sewing. And we are working on building more of those. On the profession side, we have woodworking, which is a great shop. They do lots of carpentry, lead students into construction programs, sustainable construction as well. And I already talked about fashion. Management and events is a really exciting pathway. Hospitality, recreation, and tourism. Those students work very closely with the city of Cotati and do internships at the end of their program. We have computer science, which we'll talk more about in a minute. Project Lead the Way is our health sciences program. Environmental science, as I said, is one of our new pathways. And then we have an Intro to Law program as well that is very popular. When students complete a CTE pathway, they get to have, and this is, I think, their favorite part, a stole at graduation that goes on their robe. And as you see, as you look here, you can, if you're looking closely, and sorry, it's hard to see up there, that many of these courses are also AP courses, advanced placement courses. And more we're trying to put these 2 paths through high school together. So computer science is a perfect example of that. The computer science pathway culminates in AP Computer Science A, which is the equivalent of a first-year college computer science course. And students in that pathway have a very robust robotics team, which we're about to meet. And the purpose of a leadership organization within a CTE framework is just that, to really get students some hands-on experience where they're connected with an industry professional who advises them, and they're really learning how to do that trade, that task. And robotics is one way that we do that through our CTE pathway. Before we highlight robotics, I know you guys saw the robot. I want to talk briefly about some of the statistics. So we have seen that our 4x4 master's schedule has greatly expanded opportunities for students to participate in these various career technical education pathways at Rancho. And I didn't put it up here because I just pulled it, but the demographics of students enrolled in CTE pathways, which right now out of 1,700 students is 1,000, so that's many of our students are enrolled in CTE. But the demographics of those students, those 1,000 students, matches Rancho demographics exactly, along racial lines, students with IEPs, English language learners, and socially economically disadvantaged students. So it really is an equal opportunity program, as is our AP program. So we are working on increasing our completers. That's one of our big goals for the CTE program. Many students are engaged in the program, but not everyone is completing those pathways that are outlined on the previous slide. So that's an area of growth for us. Okay.
Heather, I have a quick question
Yeah.
about completion. So if I was doing woodworking, if I did woodworking 1 and woodworking 2, then I will have completed that pathway.
Yep. As
Okay.
long as you pass
So it just
those
means I
class-
take all of, like, I got to do the whole line.
You got it.
Okay.
You do have to pass the classes with a C or better and complete your capstone project.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. McWilliams, who is our computer science teacher and the head of our robotics team. Oh, question, yes.
So like when I think of non-college but trades, things like my father owned a car repair shop, or plumbing, electrician. A lot of those things we obviously can't do on campus. But when kids have said, like, in those fields have completed like sustainable construction or advanced sustainable construction, do they get like any kind of intro or certificate or something that could help them to like become, you know, approach the electricians guild or something like that and get an entry level position?
So what that program does, so both, let me go back. The Sustainable Construction Program and woodworking, they both feed the North Bay Construction Corps,
Okay.
which is, and the Lime Foundation, which we've worked really closely with as a culminating experience in those pathways. And through those programs that are paid internships and training programs is where they get those stackable industry certificates that you're referring to, like your OSHA 10, your forklift certification,
Got it.
and so on. Because what we offer, as you can see here, is more of like it's a broad overview of construction. We don't have just electrical or just plumbing. You know, they do build a tiny house, which touches all of it. But then from there, we feed them into those programs. And that's one of the big things in CTE right now is, and a lot of the funders and the state are really looking for, how are we articulating our pathways past high school? Like what you're getting at, right? How do we do a K through 16 plan, right? Not just through 12. How are we getting students through a junior college or a 4-year or directly into a trade union and getting them those certificates? So that's definitely an area of growth for us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah.
There we go. So is there a pathway from this certificate to the JC with their CTE program?
Yeah.
Certificates? Oh, so there is a direct pathway.
Well, we articulate the pathway, meaning we say this is the pathway. And then certain pathways have it built a little bit more integrated. So for example, the filmmaking pathway and the fashion design pathway, it's articulated and integrated, meaning that when the students finish the pathway here, they've already begun and completed their first pathway course at the JC.
Sweet.
So it's a really simple handoff. And we're looking at doing more and more with that as we build the programs out. And connecting not just with the junior college, but area colleges that are specific to these pathways.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. This is Ms. McWilliams.
Good evening. I'm Ms. McWilliams. I teach computer science, and I'm the robotics team coach. We just got back from a 3-day competition in San Francisco. So our robot has seen better days, but we have enough of it left to show off some of it. This is a student-led organization, so I'm going to hand this off to our team captain, Alex Nava.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex Nava, and I'm the team captain of Rancho Cotati High School's robotics team. Today I'd like to showcase our team and our robot, and I'd like to demonstrate, how we build more than just robots. Tomorrow's future requires a STEM-based mindset, and within this team, we foster that mindset. For 2 years now, with the help of sponsors and amazing mentors, we have been a part of the first robotics competition. Within this competition, we design, prototype, and program a robot to complete a challenge. And let me tell you, it's not easy. But apart from that, apart from all those technical skills that we develop, we foster a bunch of interpersonal skills, like communication and collaboration with social media and local businesses. This year's competition required us to pick up a foam ring from the ground and score it into some sort of contraption. And this year, this is what we built. So as you can see from our competition, it got a little beat up, but it's still working properly, and it can score into the contraption. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody. Do you guys have any questions? All right. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you. There it goes.
Okay, just, really quick, some next steps with CTE. Talked about we're gonna add a music pathway. We're also in discussion with Sonoma State University about adding some dual enrollment at the end of some of our pathways as well. We're gonna be expanding our 9th grade design academy, and there will be a CTE showcase and awards night coming in May that you will all be invited to. That's it.
Thank you. I have to say, I have one of the. I'll take a picture when I've planted it. But the woodworking team was selling the garden boxes. These things are amazing. If they make more, you should buy one. It's like, in my mind, it's the size of this table. It's not quite that big, but the craftsmanship and quality is amazing. And I do a cut flower garden every year, so this is gonna be my cut flower garden spot this year. So I will. So thank you to the students who built it because it's fantastic. So, all right. What a fun little row. All right, next we have University Elementary at La Fiesta to talk about the Ocean Guardian grants.
I was making connections for our elementary school. The robot needs to come to UELF, don't you all think? Yeah, we just were setting that up back there. Okay, let me get us to our slideshow. All right, welcome. So I'm very happy to be here today. I'm Christina Lendy, the principal for University Elementary School at La Fiesta, and I'm here with my garden teacher and 4 of our students to share with you some updates around the NOAA BWET grant for our district and the NOAA Ocean Guardian grant for our school. So the goals of our presentation tonight is that we really want the students to share the impact of creating a pollinator habitat in the garden. We'd like to share the benefits of being an Ocean Guardian school. UELF Ocean Guardian grant, you'll find out the details in a moment. And then provide the district with an update on where we are with our NOAA BWET grant, since we're in the last 5 months of it. All this work aligns with our LCAP, specifically with how it accounts to being relevant and rigorous curriculum for students. It's science-based work that we're doing. Also, how it is a college and career readiness goal, because we're looking at environmental science, we're looking at thinking like scientists, and how we fit in the world. And then really, it's been engaging for our family and our community, and being a part of our school and having this grant. So I am going to hand the mic over to Sandra Noy, who is our garden teacher over at UELF.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. This is UELF's 3rd year as an Ocean Guardian grant recipient. The way the Ocean Guardian grant works, they determine if you are an Ocean Guardian school at the end of your project. You submit a report and they approve you to share that designation in the following year. So we were accepted the first 2 years of our grant to call ourselves an Ocean Guardian school. And this is the 3rd year that we have received the NOAA Ocean Guardian grant. So hopefully at the end, when we submit our project, we'll receive that a 3rd time. So for 3 years, our Ocean Guardian project has focused on creating habitat. The students at UELF have learned the importance of conservation, especially as it pertains to the monarch butterfly. The monarch is listed as a species of greatest conservation need in California's State Wildlife Action Plan, and it was recommended to be added to the Federal Endangered Species List in 2020. The gardens at UELF, from the food garden to the original habitat garden and to our new NOAA Ocean Guardian habitat, all include plants that are critical to the support of butterflies like the monarch and other pollinators like native bees, moths, and hummingbirds. Students are given the opportunity to observe garden plants and animals up close, while also gaining an understanding of the human impact on nature and our responsibility to protect the earth. Last spring, on one particular day, I counted 39 monarch caterpillars in our gardens. Throughout the season, the number varied. I would estimate that we had at least 100 monarch caterpillars hatch. We never actually found a chrysalis. They are pretty small. They are under 2 inches in circumference, so they're kind of hard to find. This year, we've added an additional 20 narrowleaf milkweed plants to our habitat space. Milkweed is the host plant for the monarch, commonly meaning it is the only food source for the larval stage, commonly referred to as the caterpillar. As part of our Ocean Guardian project, UELF students have created seed packets to encourage our community to add milkweed to their gardens. We have also started over 100 milkweed plants from seed, and we will work to distribute those to homes in the neighborhoods surrounding our school. UELF has worked hard to become an Ocean Guardian school and help protect our ecosystem. We hope that you will join us in this effort and invite you to visit our garden on April 28th from noon to 3 for our annual garden celebration. I'd like to turn it over to our student environmentalists. I'll introduce them briefly, and then they'll each speak after I've introduced them. So we have Haven Yarbrough, Alexis, I just lost your last name, Tharp, thank you, Mallory Brunette, and Maddie Nyo. All right, are you ready?
Do you know how interactive a school garden can be? The UELF garden is interactive because of how the students get to do the weeding, planting, and harvesting in the garden. One example of how my class engages with the garden is how we learn about the cycles of life for plants and animals. Recently, we have learned about the cycle of monarch butterflies. Milkweed has been a recent new planting, so we can get more butterflies. We get to see the larvae too. One of my favorite things from our garden is making seed packets. We get to take the packets home and plant the seeds to keep the species alive for pollinators to pollinate our garden.
I am here to tell you about the UELF garden. Today I'm going to tell you about the hands-on activities such as the challenges we are given, like who can weed the most, who can take out the most sunflower seeds, or who can pick up the most spiky seeds. We use nice wagons to put the spiky seeds in, then we find out which class is able to do the most. It brings in the competition. Another thing that our school garden has is a habitat garden. A habitat garden is where we have different plants and a willow house that monarch butterflies live in. Planting a habitat garden supports the pollinators.
Having a garden can change the world because it helps animals live. Also, the garden makes a great mind space for many classes in the school. For example, having stumps to sit on in the quiet space of shade. There are birds and lots of squirrels too, and some people come to our garden to walk outside, and it makes them feel happy. It has things that a lot of people and animals like or love, so whenever you add more and more plants, it helps the earth. We add tree seeds and water for growing more plants. We have also learned that we can grow an indoor garden if you don't have somewhere to grow anything. Just by planting one seed, you can change the world. The impact on our planet can shift, and we will have a better today and an even better tomorrow. By planting a single seed, we are helping our community and our lives. If you do not have a garden like ours, then you can work up to it, one plant at a time. Gardening is important. All of us having gardens helps our community with the litter problems. It is each of our jobs to take care of the earth, and having a garden is one of those ways.
Can we give those young speakers a round of applause? Spoken from their own thoughts, their own experiences. Their classes get to go out to the garden once a week. UELF has been doing this prior to being an Ocean Guardian school. The Ocean Guardian School grant has provided us with a focus with keeping the vision but also getting into the specifics and the details. So when you have a grant, it holds you accountable. You have goals, you got to meet those goals, you have progress reports. And so that's been a way that our garden teacher, with the collaboration with our teachers, with our amazing garden volunteers, that we've been able to do this work. And the students are the labor every week, just saying. So we've tapped into NOAA. We have our Ocean Guardians grant for our school, and then we've also tapped into NOAA as a district. And I just wanted to highlight, we're coming to the end part of our experience here with the NOAA BWEG grant. And if you remember a few years ago, I came to you and we shared this really grand idea about taking every fifth grader to outdoor education. And so in our last 5 months, I would like to share that we are thrilled that we've had 2 years of taking fifth graders out to outdoor education. That means we've taken a total of 763 students out there to the Nature Bridge Golden Gate campus. We, in this journey, we are still learning how to support our families in getting ourselves out there, how to support our staff to feel confident, to feel capable, and to be excited about it, and to support each other to be able to take this on. Well, this year we had some weather that made us even question more what was going on, but we came together, we gathered, we researched, and we found it to be a very memorable experience for the students. The students and staff have shared the richness of the science that we experience out there, the depth of the team building, and the ongoing vision needed to keep this kind of trip going. So as an elementary admin team, we are committing to working together, refining our tools, and providing these needed supports. The NOAA BWEG grant was written to kick off this project, so we as a district team could develop sustainable practices for support environmental education for every fifth grader. And our next steps will share one of the ways that we're going to do that. But it wasn't just about outdoor education for students. It was also about providing our teachers with science workshops. So the NOAA BWEG grant supported 2 summers of science workshops, and the final one will be this June of 2024. There have been 6 after-school workshops provided for teachers to continue their science inquiry work in the 2022-23 school year and the 23-24 school year. Through this work, we've had at least every elementary school represented. So we've had a total of 57 teachers who have participated over the last 2 years, which means an estimation of 1,425 students have been impacted by inquiry-based science instruction. So our partnerships with the Laguna de Santa Rosa, the Fairfield Osborne Preserve, the Cordell Bank Sanctuary, and Understanding Global Climate Change through UC Berkeley have provided teachers with access to real-time data sets, working scientists, and thought partners. Like, our teachers are calling these partners to brainstorm units in their classrooms. Yay. So those partnerships won't go away. For our final workshop this June, the team will be using the much anticipated newly adopted science curriculum, which you'll be voting on shortly soon, to unpack resources and tools for continuing with inquiry-based hands-on science. So we're gonna use the tools that our teachers will have in their classrooms in the workshop. That's exciting. So for our next steps, with the NOAA BWEG grant ending, but the Ocean Guardian grant will hopefully continue for us. We as a staff at UALF will apply for the Ocean Grant again to continue the stewardship work for the environment through habitat creation and education. We'll build upon the momentum with the science workshops with the adoption of our science curriculum. We'll collaborate with the expanded learning program to support fundraising efforts for 5th grade outdoor education. Thank you, Elena. And elementary principals will work side by side with our teachers to implement the systems for preparing students and families for outdoor education. So I want to thank this board in particular. You were very supportive when we brought this grant to you. You stuck by our side. You were ready to take on outdoor ed, and you are working with us to create these systems. So with that, that's what the grant was meant to do, kickstart us, and we were able to keep it going. We're going to be able to keep it going. So thank you. And if you have any questions for us, we're here.
Great. Do we have
I
any?
have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So with the NOAA grant, we're in year 2 out of 3 for the project?
For the NOAA, for which
Or we're
the
in-
NOAA BWET grant, we're in the last 3rd year.
We're in the 3rd. And so is that is there an additional project available after the first round, or
Great
no?
question. The NOAA BWET grant was not offered this year. It comes out in October in the fall for you to turn in. And they did not offer new ones because of funding. They needed to maintain their funding for the grants they presently have. Rumor has it they will be sharing one in October of 2024, so we can apply for it by February of 2025, which will then have us possibly have one starting on August 1st of 2025. That vision will be more inclusive of science inquiry workshops using our curriculum and using our professional learning communities model to be able to support science work in the classroom. That's my vision. I'm working with Education Services on that one.
Okay, so we're ready to pounce when it's available.
I was ready this year.
Okay.
So our partners would like to join us now. They're trying to figure out how to keep working with us without a year, so.
So is the goal still next year's fifth graders will go to Nature Bridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's, the next BWET grant won't have that written in because the intent, we won't get funded again.
Right. So the next year's fifth graders, they're going to have to pay for 100% of it. There won't be grant money.
We're
to offset
already
it.
fundraising as
So
of
we're gonna-
January 2024.
But we don't have grant money to offset it.
No, well, there will be probably a little bit left over this year.
Okay.
What we do with John, my other partner in crime here, we work on it. We get all the teacher stipends paid out by June, and whatever I have left in the account, we put towards outdoor ed.
Okay.
Nikki Doble is also the other rock star.
What is the amount that we're going to have to increase our fundraising by to offset the grant money for for next year?
That is a great question. I don't have those
Okay.
specific numbers in front of me. It is something that Elena and the admin team are working on. We have them in worksheets, not this one.
Okay, now to the kids. Thank
Okay.
you, Christina.
Yeah.
What is your favorite project to do in the garden? Yeah, go ahead.
I like the competition for the spiky balls. Also,
Are those the ones that fall from the trees?
yeah.
Okay, great.
And then we also do a lot of like weeding and stuff, and that's really satisfying to me. So
Oh, be careful if you tell people that. You might get a little side job action going on here. Cool. And have any of you taken what you learn and started a garden at home? You have? What are you growing at home?
I know that I'm going to flowers with
Okay.
and we're also trying to
Oh, melons at home. That's a good one. Great. And what else are you guys growing? Oh, that's a good winter one. Mm-hmm. Great. Do you guys plant any food at the UELF garden, or is it just flowers?
we plant like kale, carrots, every year that we strawberries.
Oh, strawberries. Those are good ones too. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say.
And we also have carrots.
When I pick strawberries at home, they don't make it inside. They kind of go from the strawberry to my mouth, and then we go inside. So, anyway, any other questions for the?
I just had two
Yeah, go
things.
ahead.
A fundraising idea, come weed my garden. I would be happy to pay for
I was
that.
gonna say you could pay for lots of years of outdoor ed if that's gonna.
Then I want to say thank you for the seeds. I have a
Yeah.
7-foot tall butterfly bush that's been very disappointing. It looks nice, but the butterflies aren't coming, so I'm hoping that the milkweed changes that.
So the butterfly bush is actually not a California native plant, so it might not be attractive to the butterflies that are in your area.
There you go.
All right, thank you.
So how should we plant these milkweeds? What are the directions?
So that's a great question, and I'm sorry we haven't
That's
made
okay.
that material yet.
That's
But
okay.
in general, milkweed seeds you will just spread out and cover very loosely with soil before the rains end. So if we have another week where it's going to rain several days, you can go ahead and put them in your soil. You can space them apart, but they aren't going to be too picky about planting space and depth. You don't want them super deep, like maybe
Okay.
a quarter of an inch.
And they
Very
can go
lightly
out
covered.
before the first frost, or do I have to start them
It
inside?
won't matter.
Okay.
They normally, like, you could normally throw them out there in January, and they'll be happy to sprout by now. The ones that we just planted last year are about an inch.
Oh, great. We might have to have a little trustee competition of who can grow the tallest milkweed here.
Who can grow the most milkweed?
So if any of them ask for gardening tips, no more. They're done now.
Also, a cool note about these seeds: these are milkweed seeds that the students harvested from the milkweed plants at UL.
Oh, even cooler.
So They are locally grown and
I'm going to put my
harvested.
student milkweed in my student garden box, and I'm just going to have a CRP USD garden going on here pretty soon. There we go. All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming out tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yes.
Oh, actually, we could go this way. Sorry. Oh, I have
Wait,
it
guys.
now. It's okay. Oh, wait. Oh, there's goodies.
Haven.
All right. We got robots. We have plants. This is a great meeting. Setting the bar high for the rest of this year. No. All right. Next, we have North Bay Children's Center, and I believe Principal Ituri is going to be doing a presentation. Yeah, great. Oh, with Christina. All right, wonderful.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So we, during the Thanksgiving break, Christina wrote a grant for us. And we were funded from the CDE for $1.2 million to open an infant, toddler, and preschool classroom. Yeah. So we're very excited about it. I've worked with North Bay for many, many years, and they are amazing professionals who do a brilliant job. And so tonight we're asking for your approval of the MOU that we've worked on, and Christina's going to tell you a little bit about the program. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Sisek. I'm with North Bay Children's Center. I'm the Vice President of Programs for the organization. NBCC is a nonprofit early childhood organization that serves Marin and Sonoma County. We have over 650 early education students within our reach. We partner with 6 school districts right now, and you guys will be our 7th partner. We partner with Hillsburg Unified School District for their preschool program and their toddler program. We partner with Santa Rosa City Schools with their preschool programming, Bellevue Unified School District with their preschool programming, Petaluma City Schools, we have 2 sites on their location, Sonoma Valley Unified School District, they're going to be opening infant, toddler, and preschool program on their site this next year as well, and then Novato Unified School District. So those are all our partners. So our program that we wrote for, Monte and I, was for infants, toddlers, and preschool students, so 0 or 6 weeks old to kindergarten entry or TK entry. And the program will serve low-income families. There is an income criteria in which the families would be able to enroll into this program. Our program, NBCC, what we offer in all of our programs is a Garden of Eden, which is a health and nutrition program, so UEFF, like right on. So we teach health, nutrition, gardening, nature-based curriculum in all of our programs. So Garden of Eden is an award-winning program, and it's been researched by San Francisco University on evidence-based, so it has both of those components. We also partner with school readiness. We use teaching pyramid model, which is a PBIS, positive behavior intermittent support system, in all of our classrooms to work on our social emotional development for all of our students. We also align with school district TK and kindergarten classrooms. So we'll partner with your guys' TK and K classrooms about how to get our preschool students ready to enter those programs. We also use a literacy program called Raising a Reader to connect literacy from the classroom to home, and we send book bags home every month, or actually, every week to families, and then doing a rotation system. We also use the TALK program from Sonoma County Office of Ed, which is our early learning English language learner program, where we teach the teachers on best practices and working with our dual language students. This program will be using Programs for Infant Toddler Care, which is a West Ed curriculum, which is a relationship-based curriculum. So it's supporting those early learning skills from the beginning. This program will also be partnering with the special ed department, and I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. We'll also talk about the budget and then the program launch. So like I said earlier, this is gonna be a full day, full year program. So 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., this program will be in operation for 244 days per year. We're targeting our working families. Again, 6 weeks old to 18 months in one classroom. There will be 12 of those students. Toddlers will be 12 of 18 months to 36 months, and then their full day preschool would be 2.5 to 5 years. And then again, that special ed component will be there. We have identified, there we go, 5 or more spots that will be saved for children with exceptional needs or children with severe disabilities will be operating in coming through this classroom as well. And it really is tied to that partnership with the special ed department at Cotati Roanoke Park. Okay, so the grant was written for $1.2 million, or about $1.3 million. It's like 1.26666. But this is the first year, so this is our startup year. So we're not going to be able to operate 244 days per year. So the money that we're going to get this year is about 1.1 million. And then the following year we'll be up at full capacity. So this is the launching year. I'm going to talk a little bit about that budget. So like I said, we're going to have about 1.1 million coming in this year. The total operation costs, so we would be providing all the teaching staff, all the training, all the enrollment, the overhead of managing this program. So that's about $794,000. Startup, and what's in startup cost is getting the facility renovated, updated, getting furniture and equipment in there, training of staff, recruiting and hiring of staff, and that we get 15% of the 1.1 million up front. So that's going to be coming after we get the building license. So that's going to be an important part in the next steps to launching this program. And then there's up to 15% of indirect costs. That's like your admin fees. That is like all the behind the scenes to make it run and operate. It's up to 15%. It could be lower at times. That's a flex number. And then the program launch. A couple things that are going to be happening soon is Maite will be getting an official letter of congratulations. Here comes your program, and here's the list of things you need to do to set it up. So we'll be getting a vendor number, working with California Department of Social Services. So you'll be identified a fiscal analyst as well as a program analyst. I would work with the program analyst, and it would be John and Maite working with the fiscal analyst, because this is your contract, not North Bay Children's Center. So we have no say in that area. So the facility will need to be updated and work on getting licensing. Once it is licensing, we submit it to California Department of Social Services, and they will release the startup funds and the money to move forward. Then we will launch into recruiting, hiring, and training staff, and then doing outreach for enrollment. I don't think we're going to have a problem with enrollment because there is a major need in Sonoma County for infant and toddler care. So I know that's going to be vastly filled. And we anticipate opening in August of 2024 when the new school year starts. And do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a couple, and I think we all probably do a little bit.
Oh yeah, please.
So do you have to be a resident of CRPUSD, like in our boundaries, in order to go or be considered for this program?
Ideally, we would want Cotati Roanoke Park students first so that it feeds into your next school, but I'll let my take.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we would want to prioritize our community, and then if we're unable to fill those spaces, then I think we would probably reach out to others, because we do have a lot of transfer students who do come here, so we do have families that might have infant, toddlers, and preschoolers. So it's a possibility, but we would want to fill with Cotati Roanoke Park first.
Okay. And then so if I apply for my child to go, who's actually saying this kid gets to go, this kid doesn't? Is that North Bay Children? Is it us?
So we have, North Bay Children's Center has enrollment specialists, and we are given a state criteria, a priority list of what type of student gets priority into the center. And then we have to create an active wait list. The state monitors how that looks. So we can't say we want this family and this family. We have to go by the priority list. So that is our children at risk of abuse and neglect. That's our dual language learners. That's our children with special needs. And then we go down the list from there.
Okay. So if a dual language learner from Santa Rosa applies to go to this, would they be taken prior to someone that's in our CRPUSD boundaries?
Is it with the CP?
Yeah, if it's an active case, then yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes,
Okay.
if there's an active case with a social worker, it's possible that they could jump the list. Yeah.
And then this grant only covers 1 year. Is that right? How many years does the grant cover?
It's actually a contract with the
Okay.
California Department of Social Services. So every December, you do a continued funding application and you get awarded again and again. It's forever. So if
I'm writing
it's
that down.
basically
It's
when the
forever.
district is wanting to be done with it, it's up to you. The state will continue to fund you.
Okay. And in your experience, do they continue to fund at the amount you need, or next year are they going to say, here's $500,000 and we'll have to look at John for the rest?
So what's great right now is in early childhood education, there's a thing called rate reform happening, where they're talking about the daily reimbursement rate actually being what it costs to provide the care. And that's going to be coming out the following year in 26. But right now, all early education programs like this one, we are considered held harmless, so we can go right up to our maximum reimbursement amount or the net reimbursement it costs. So we're held harmless this next year. And it depends on your enrollment from the following year. So what kind of student you have, what is their needs, and it comes off of a daily reimbursement rate.
Okay. So the 48 students, sorry, I told you guys I have a couple. The 48 students that we are bringing in next year, is that 48 number based on our facilities that we have, or is it based on the 1.1 million, or how do we determine how many students we can have?
So the 48 is what we wrote the proposal for.
Okay.
We walked the facility and it does accommodate the 48 students. So we will be able to meet that number.
Okay, so it's kind of the facilities are what's limiting the number of students that we can take at this time, kind of.
Yeah, there have been opportunities that you can increase your contract, and we'll see how that goes. If we have more space, if we continue to grow, if the need continues to grow, we could apply. They will open it up occasionally to expand that contract. So it's possible. Right now, we wrote it for 48, and that's what our facility will hold.
Okay. And then I saw in here that the district will provide partnership with subcontractor to provide services to special ed. So the 5 special ed students that were students with IEPs, is that Rachel and her team will provide the services for those 5 students? Okay, thank you. Okay, I think I know the answer to this one, but do CRPUSD teachers or staff get any sort of priority in their kiddos going to this program?
Well, so if they qualify by income,
Okay.
Otherwise, we lose the funding for that particular child.
Okay.
So it makes it difficult. Yeah.
So the point of the preschool is to serve the needs of these low income and dual language and
The families that can't
The
afford to
families
pay
that-
for
yeah.
private, yes.
great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are a lot, and we know that the cost of preschool and daycare and childcare is huge, and we understand that, but there are limitations to this contract.
Yeah.
We'd love to be able to give it to everybody for free.
Fine.
Yeah.
And then does this get included in our ADA or no? No. Okay. I think that's all mine, but I reserve the right to come back.
Michelle took it all.
Sorry.
My questions have been answered.
Sorry.
Good job.
Mark?
Says that at least 5, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're not limiting it.
Nope.
Yeah, there it goes. I have one. I love this program. There's going to be such happy families out there, you know, being able to get some help. So, what about teachers, though? You know, it's hard to find educators right now. So, what's your plan?
So what North Bay Children's Center has been doing over the last year is we've been partnering with Santa Rosa Junior College, College of Marin, and we've been interfacing with an apprenticeship program. So we've been building our workforce, getting them the EC units and the credentials that they need to be able to teach. Right now, at North Bay Children's Center, we have 150 teachers, and I can tell you we have a lot of teachers that live in Roanoke Park, and they want to come work here. And so I was telling my team, I'm not going to have a problem finding teachers for here. I'm going to have a problem finding them coming from the other places. But we knew this was workforce was an issue for ECE, especially because we don't pay as robust and we don't have as much benefits. But what North Bay Children's Center does, we invest in professional development. So we find grants and other funding to supplement teachers' education and getting them through the system. We have an education manager who helps them identify what ECE courses, early childhood courses, that they need to be able to obtain their child development permit. And then we work with them. Yeah.
Great. Okay, I said I reserve the right and I'm going to use it. So this year we're going to get 1.1 million because of the kind of later start. And then we have a fiduciary agreement, right, with North Bay Children's that we will fund you up to 1.1 million. So if you guys go like wild and spend 1.4 million, are you guys going to take care of the difference? And then if you don't spend the 1.1 million, what happens with that difference?
You want me to go for it? Okay. We won't go wild. We have never done that to any school district that we've worked for. We stay right at or below our MRA. And if there is an additional expenses, we start talking to you early on about it. And then we try to help find grants to supplement that cost. So like the Raising a Reader program I was mentioning, we have funders within our reach that will fund the whole literacy program. So that wouldn't come out of operation costs.
Okay.
And things like that. Like the PITC, I found a grant through a foundation that covers that curriculum. So that is able to reduce our operating costs. So we're strategic on making sure we stay with what we're saying we're going to be at.
Great.
I also wanted to add that funders understand preschool. They do, and foundations understand preschool, and it's generally, in my experience in the 15 years I've been doing preschool at elementary school, it's easy to go to funders and ask for support for preschool. They really understand the concept and the needs of early learners. So I'm confident that we'll be okay.
Great. All right. Sounds good. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
No problem, anytime.
Thank you, Christina. I appreciate it. So we are asking for your approval on the MOU at
Great.
this time. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Great. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the preschool grant MOU?
All motion to approve?
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence. we're moving right along. Student board members report. Samantha Petrie.
Good evening, and thank you for having me here tonight. Campus life. Rancho has had some exciting events, and I'm so excited to share them with you all tonight. To start off, we had our annual Unity Week, February 20th through the 23rd. There are some photos here from different presentations like our immigration panel, lion dancing, fencing, mural symbols and significance, and the Japanese American Citizens League. We also had taiko drummers, Holocaust remembrance, canine companions, foreign exchange student panels, living voices, women and gender study, positive images, journey across America, and Peace Corps in Senegal presentations throughout the week. We also had spirit activities every day. On Monday, we had writing a positive message on paper or chalk. On Tuesday, eat a different culture's cuisine. Wednesday, explore and support a local business, and also to wear blue to represent unity on Friday. At the top, there's a paper that described what Lunar New Year was and a chocolate coin. Every student on campus received an envelope to celebrate Lunar New Year's, and some envelopes had prizes in them, like a free prom ticket. These are some photos from our Unity Week assembly. Our assembly opened up with a video of different students and staff saying different phrases, and it followed by a drum major and bagpiper, Hallen Dennis. We then had multiple dance performances, a fashion show showcasing off different cultures, Polynesian dancing, and a cross the line performance. I was lucky enough to be one of the students directing Cross the Line. We had over 20 staff members participating, and my partner and I would say a phrase, and if it related to the staff member, they would step forward. This performance was for students to know and see if there are any staff members on campus that have gone or are going through similar situations as them, and they could talk to them if they need. Every performance attracted students' attention and unwavering support, bringing and uniting us all together. And then these are participants from the fashion show, dance club performance, and Polynesian dancing. Some statistics from our week is that there are 9 staff responsible for 26 presentations, 2 student-led presentations, 2 alumni who presented, and 49 teachers participating by bringing their students to presentations. There are 3,955 students in attendance of all presentations, and Unity Week was produced by 25 ASB students for $2,350 of student body funds. March 6th, Rancho had a Money Matters workshop or program for juniors to introduce them to the financial aspects of college, including scholarships, financial aid, cost of attendance, and more. They piloted the program this spring with 5 11th grade classes, and then this program took 1 class period and offered bilingual support. 10 KD staff and about 20 community volunteers were there to support the event. One of the goals of this program is to jumpstart a conversation about college with our students and also help them realize the opportunities that financial aid might offer them. This is Neon Night. Our sophomore class council produced this year's Neon Night, but unfortunately it went short because the power went out, so it ended early. Yeah, but it was a fun night. There was giant Jenga, cornhole, Connect 4, black lights, and pizza for the students who went. Student and staff recognition. Congratulations to all of our athletes of the week. They work hard and have had impressive results in their sports. Congratulations to our staff spotlights, Ms. Brandenburg, Ms. Schwinn, and Ms. Champagne. They are great and work to better every student every day. Upcoming. Our spring Scholastic Book Fair is coming up in 2 weeks. We'll set up every day for teachers to sign up to bring in their classes and during lunch for any student to walk in. We also have the book fair at our pasta feed. Our ASB class is producing our annual pasta feed on March 29th. We're selling tickets, $17 for an adult and $12 for children. Along with a book fair, there'll be a dessert auction and silent auction throughout the whole night. Earlier today, we had our executive board election for the upcoming year 2024 to 2025. Above are the picture candidates. We had every position ran for president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and school board representative. Soon, ballots will be counted and we'll find out whose next year's executive board will be to begin training and setting up next year's ASB class. And then on April 9th will be our class council elections for each grade. And then Rancho Cotali's prom theme this year will be Enchanted Forest. Our prom will be held on April 20th, 2024, and our junior class is working hard to put on an amazing prom this year, and we'll start selling tickets very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha, I have a quick question. So when you guys do something like Unity Week and you have an assembly, does the schedule change for the day, like for a rally schedule, and so there's time for all students to be able to go to the different events? Cool. Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you. All right. For Tech High today, we have Caleb Schiffman.
All right, good evening, board. My name is Caleb Schiffman. I'm the vice president of the Associated Student Body at Tech High, and I'm going to be stepping in for Naomi this evening, who unfortunately couldn't make it. All right. So 2 weeks ago was our Wellness Week, which aims to increase overall well-being of our student body. To start off the week, we had hot cocoa and tea for our students. We also had some fun gifts to raise school spirit, as well as some positive notes on campus that we called the Don't Burn Out notes, where ASB students put it in like a little toaster paper thing that we made that said, "Don't burn out." So I thought that was cute. And to end off the week, we also had root beer floats, which are always a plus, and everyone loved those. This past week at Tech High has been a big week, as it was our election convention and Spirit Week. The annual election convention is an event where student delegates from across freshman, sophomore, and junior grade levels get to spend a day with the ASB cabinet candidate positions for the following year, and they get to learn a little more about those candidates. This event aims to connect students with their candidates and overall helping them just get to know them better, of who they're voting for, because that's important, not voting blindly. I would like to give a big shout out to our very own Naomi, who helped plan the decoration of our MU and turned it into an amazing space to hold our convention. We stayed until around 5:30 on Thursday afternoon to help get the place looking ready for the event, and I would like to thank our ASB advisor, Ms. Wolfman, our counselor, Ms. Suarez, our vice assistant principal, Mr. Aftab, some of our students, Malia, Gary, Naomi, Matt, Jaime, Elijah, and myself, for staying late to help with setup. As for the convention itself, our ASB president, Giovanni Ledoux, with the help of our senior cabinet, helped to actually plan the day. So the day consisted of a panel and questionnaire, karaoke from the candidates, a scavenger hunt, and a traditional town hall style debate. Here are some photos of students making their posters and team logos to just increase. This day is meant to encourage civic duty and put a fun twist on leadership. I would also like to thank Dr. Ituri, Ms. Devereaux, Ms. Juarez, Ms. Wolfman, and President Wing for attending our event and giving amazing insight to our students about the importance of voting and being active in our community. As for the rest of the day, we had our election rally. There's some photos of that. Yeah, we had our election rally, which consisted of a performance from our band, our dance team, and special recognition from Ms. Devereaux, our principal, to any student who achieved a 4.0 GPA or higher in that first semester, and it was surprising. I'm not sure the exact number, but they got to stand up at the rally, and we all cheered for them, and then later they could go to the office and receive a certificate congratulating them and making it official. A big part of this rally was hearing the 2024 ASB cabinet candidate speeches. It was amazing hearing what the next year of potential cabinet leaders had to say. So there are some more pictures of our candidates giving speeches. And finally, yesterday was the candidate booths at lunch, where candidates made posters and gave candy or other prizes to the students, and shared basically their campaign agenda, what they're running for, what they stand for, and just overall giving some insight to them. All right, so these are our candidates. We have Ellie running for president, Joey running for president, Malia running for vice president, Sebastian running for vice president, Eloise running for secretary, Lexi running for secretary, Evan running for treasurer, Alex running for public relations, Sam running for public relations, and Matt running for our spirit commissioner. So here's a few stands. You see Sam there. His thing was breaking bread, and I thought that was cool. A lot of creativity in those posters. And lastly, I would like to announce that we are planning some outreach community events, including another visit to John Reed, as well as announcing, like, firsthand, this is a sneak peek into our prom. We haven't announced it to our students yet, but it's going to be called the Garden Gala, and it's going to be held at the Barlow in Sebastopol. If you're familiar with that, it's a beautiful venue, and we've secured a nice little industrial warehouse kind of thing over there, and we're going to transform it into something really amazing. And there will be more information coming soon that I'm sure Naomi will share with you at her next report. So thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. All right. Trustee reports. Trustee Johnson.
Nothing since last week, but it's going to be a busy week after today.
Great. Trustee Nelson?
Yeah, apologies. I was not able to make it last week to our regular, another one of our regular meetings. I'm still recovering from being ill, so hopefully I'm not infecting my compatriot here on my right. I would also like to thank the community for their support for Measure A. And yesterday we did have an LCAP meeting. I think it was very productive, going over some new goals and then plans and ways that we can, achieve and propel our district going forward. So,
great.
My report.
Trustee Martin?
I was very excited to go to Shayla Pace's 6th grade class bake sale on Saturday. Got a few calories, and each one was delicious.
Fantastic. Perfect. All right. Superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. So I've been busy writing some grants for professional development, some mental health opportunities. We had a meeting at SCO on Monday for differentiated assistance. We qualify for additional support through the county office for some of our numbers in suspension in particular. So we are going to have to work to reduce that number and find some other means of corrections for our students. And everybody is very excited about doing that work and coming up with some ideas. So grateful for that team. We are also tomorrow, or maybe it's Thursday, we're starting our IBB process, which I'm very excited about with our labor partners. I was fortunate enough to attend John Reed's game night, UELF, their readathon, even some of my cabinet members were there as well. John was reading to the students, which was very cute to watch the business guy read to everybody. We were at Han for open house and the Tech High School convention. So it's been a busy week, and just grateful to have everybody's support. So thank you.
Great. John, what did you read the students? Like an accounting textbook, or?
Picked a good one. It was called Hair Day, I believe.
That's just as good as an accounting coming from
The adults laughed. I don't know if the kids got it, but.
That's fantastic. Great. All right. Next up, we have, I think she's coming up, Lisa Bauman with the Cotati Rohnert Park Educators Association.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I also wanted to mention that we were super excited about Measure A passing, and I just wanted to publicly thank all of the members that got out there before and after school, passing out flyers and canvassing and phone banking, and we were all very, very happy that money means a lot to the district, we know. Also, since the last time I was here, and why you have 2 meetings this month, you know, the March 15th letters, as they are known, this is, a difficult, stressful time of year, and it's never easy to let anybody go. But we think that things went actually fairly well this year. I didn't hear any complaints about issues that we've had in the past. And we really appreciated the transparency of the process and the timeline that Jen Hansen shared with us, so that our members knew what to expect and that we were able to then be there for those members who got hard news. And that went well this year. We are also looking forward to bargaining with this new IBB process on Thursday with the district. RIPSIA bargaining team and the executive board have been meeting regularly since the training to go through all of the articles that we sunshined with and looking at the district articles and starting to identify our interests, which is the first part of the process. And one of the things that we are really starting to appreciate is how transformative that thinking is. And we can already see that by framing things in an interest, that you open yourselves up to a lot more possible solutions. So we're looking forward to that. Student discipline is still a widespread concern among members, so it'll be really interesting to see where we go with the what Maite was just talking about, and working with suspensions and just working with whatever systems that we currently have or might be putting into place. I've shared this concern with the superintendent, and I appreciate her willingness and to work with us and to hear, what the experiences are for our teachers. We have tentatively scheduled a follow-up meeting to discuss the special ed concerns. So we had that round table a couple of months ago, and so we've put a place in the calendar to meet back up again. And we're really hoping to use the IBB process also to come up with some shared solutions that will help lessen the burden of these invaluable members of our school community. So now to the fun stuff. At John Reed, teachers are doing observational rounds after break. This is when they observe each other teaching lessons and give feedback, and it's a wonderful way to learn from each other. They are also in the middle of creating art projects for their Pasta Feed and Spring Art Show on Wednesday, April 17th. And I mentioned before that they were starting houses. Well, this is their first round. So houses are similar to tribes, which might be something that you're familiar with. The whole school, staff and students, are divided into 6 team houses, and they do projects together 3 times a year, and the groups remain the same the entire time students are at John Reed, which is really cool. So as the 5th graders move out, then the littles come in, and so they get to meet all kinds of students from different grades, which I'm sure just really enhances the school community there. And it includes all the teachers, paras, and office staff too, which I think is great. At Rancho, you already heard about Unity Week, but one thing I wanted to share with you is that some of the advanced film students made kind of like a little documentary about the Unity Week, and so they did interviews of different presenters and teachers, and you can find it on YouTube, and if you search for Rancho News Network, you can see it. It was very well done, I thought. Today, we had an Army medical demonstration truck on campus. It was huge. It was out here on the other side of the gym, kind of between the stadium and here. And it was a state-of-the-art Army medic training and recruitment event. And so they have a lot of hands-on activities, and teachers could sign up to take their students. They used touchscreen tables, and students were able to operate on the injured, everything from surgical repair of compound wounds to skin grafts and burns. Students love the team building and leadership activities, physical challenges such as weightlifting, push-ups, and games and tasks while wearing different degrees of under the influence goggles. So they had these goggles that you put on that I guess distort your vision and make you act as if you were under the influence. And so, yeah, I think they really saw how much it impairs you when you have to wear those. And so that was a really great event to, not necessarily, you didn't have to be interested in the armed forces, but to have that medical piece to it was really great. And so I know that Ms. Vorlab, who does the biomed pathway, took all of her students there, and some of the other science teachers did too, and they really enjoyed it. All right, moving on. The Mecha Club is going to be in the Luther Burbank Rose Parade on May 18th, and they are making a float and need 5,000 plastic bottles. So if you have plastic bottles lying around, you can save them and bring them to Rancho, and I'm sure, yes, they would be quite appreciative. If you are looking for another way to get involved, the Mecha Club Latino Student Union at the high school is already starting to plan for this coming fall's celebration, Celebración de Comunidad Fiesta de Independencia. How did I do, Maite? The first planning committee will meet on, I'm pausing so you can write it down, Thursday, March 28th, after school at 3:30 in Mr. Ortega's classroom, which is F3. And the event is actually scheduled for Saturday, September 21st. And they would, love anybody who wants to come and help out with the planning and organization to come to the planning meeting. They need as much help as possible, so everyone is welcome. Our student board member mentioned that the ASB elections were also held today at school, and I just wanted to add a few more statistics that they processed over 1,000 votes in 50 minutes by mimicking the democratic process of all 9th through 11th graders receiving passes to vote at a predetermined precinct, signing in for a ballot, filling out the ballot, placing it in a ballot box, and receiving an I voted sticker. So that was really cute. There was one contest for ASB vice president, but all board positions had somebody running for them, so that was great. When Heather was talking about the CTE pathways, I remembered that the sustainable construction class is building zombie apocalypse trailers. So they're these small little trailers, tow-behind trailers that you have to be able to fit everything that you would need in a zombie apocalypse in. So I don't know if they bring them inside at night, but every day when I go out to my car, they're out there. And it's really cool to have seen them go from just being a little frame to now actually taking shape, and you can see all their hard work going into there. At Technology High School, the engineering class is working on a design and development project. These are the projects that they do a showcase for every May. And I am super excited because I have one of their students, or we have one of the students that is going to actually be working on the RIPSIA website for us as their project, which has been the bane of my existence this past year. So I'm really looking forward to that partnership. And then finally at Evergreen, the kindergartners are busy making leprechaun traps so they can see if they can catch one of those sneaky leprechauns on Friday. I remember those days. First and third graders are busy rehearsing for their spring play, The Jungle Book Junior, which premieres on April 5th. Current fourth graders have started fundraising for their 5th grade outdoor ed trip. They are selling See's candy just in time for Easter. And I saw the flyers at the district office, so I think they've been posted somewhere too. In your newsletter, right? In the weekly update? Yeah. And this Thursday at Evergreen, they will have a reading-themed family fun night where kids can come visit the book fair and also listen to stories read by guest readers. I'm going to be there, John.
Readers include teachers, a city council member, Superintendent Utori, and other district staff. And that is my report. Do you have any questions? Can I answer any
Lisa,
questions?
who's on the bargaining team this year?
Ginny Mason, Emily King,
Mhm.
Craig Stone, Kim Stainer, thank you, and Shayla Pace just joined us.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Perfect. Next is receipt of official correspondence.
So we have 2 communications, the county treasurer's quarterly report and certification, and our Williams settlement findings with no findings.
Great. Thank you. Right. We're going to take a 6-minute break, and we'll be back at 7:30. Meeting to order at 7:32. Next up is consent agenda. Are there any questions or discussion? Can I get a motion to approve items 8A through K?
I so move.
Can I get a second?
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Personnel services. Public disclosure of ratification of the 2024 RIPSIA Extended School Year Credit Recovery and Summer Enrichment Academy MOU. Any questions or discussion? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the public disclosure and ratification of the 2024 RIPSIA Extended School Year Credit Recovery and Summer Enrichment Academy MOU?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. All right. Mr. Bartolome, fiscal update and planning.
First, I'd like to give you the enrollment update. We had a net gain of 4 students from over the January number. Just quite a bit of movement. 41 students entered the district, 2 from private schools, 19 from out of county, which, 12 to 17 of which are coming from out of country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
20 and 20 from within the county. Maite always likes to know that we took 3 back from Petaluma, so there you go. And then that means we had 37 leave the district, 7 to private schools, 13 to out of county, 7 went to within the county schools, 1 to Petaluma, Maite, and then 10 other, which includes early grads and dropouts and that kind of thing. So that's a positive for students, and we are at 6,172 enrollments currently.
Great. Thank you. Any questions about that? Nope. All right. Second interim report.
All right, so good evening, board and cabinet and audience. I'm here, John Bartolome, to present the second interim report, which is the second of 2 budget revision reports that I give to you throughout the year. So Ed Code requires the board to certify the district's ability to meet its financial obligations. The enclosed projections are created with the most current information available. They are not forecasts. MYPs or multi-year projections will change anytime the underlying factors change. So we're, into March in the state budget process, and by next month, the statutory COLA will be recalculated again. We'll have all the data points necessary to do that, or we, feds and state will. We'll in May get a May revise, the governors may revise, which will change everything again, and then we'll go from there. So the funding factors or the planning factors for the multi-year projections, I think I've touched on that. The COLAs have changed, right? We've gone down to a 0.76% COLA in 24-25 from almost a 4% COLA that was reported earlier. The PERS rates are projected to go up a little bit, and I've highlighted those, 27.8% in 24-25 and 28.5. Those are, not small amounts, and you'll see in a dollar-wise what that means to us. district enrollment is projected to go up, mainly due to obviously our TK classes and the ages that we're required to offer TK to. Unfortunately, those early grades, the attendance isn't so great, so the effect on attendance is maybe a little less than if it were a high school kid, just so you know what some of my assumptions are. So what's changed? I'm constantly adjusting salaries and benefits to reflect actual projected costs. There are lots of positions we have added and or haven't filled for whatever reason. Those are up to date. PERS rates, as I mentioned. Substitute costs are continue to rise, both for everyone involved. I mean, there's COVID still exists, and all the other sicknesses that that are affecting our staff. Local revenue budgets are adjusted as actual donations are received, and contributions to special ed and maintenance and operations are adjusted closer to actual projected costs. So I know these are small, but I know you have it in front of you as well. But the STRS contribution rates, employer contribution rates have starting to flatten out. That hasn't changed, and that takes a legislative action to change. But PERS rates continue to climb, and then you can see, I can barely see on the screen, but if you look back 10 years, we're contributing $3 million of our budget, and it's now up to almost 11. So that's, and we have no control of these costs. These are mandated costs that we have to pay on behalf of our employees. So, there's really nothing we can do about it. Other assumptions, the Department of Finance COLA funding assumptions are reflected in the budget. Step and column costs increases are 1.5%. Health and welfare cost increases are 4% annually. I keep talking about PERS and STRS, but those PERS costs are accordingly projected. ADA for the current year is our current year ADA, which is actually an improved number. I think I talked to you about that last month. And that made a difference in what our projected revenue is for this year. I'll talk about that in a minute. So these are very early results of what we're projecting for enrollment and an ADA for next year, but given that most of the increases in the TK number, like I said, our current 23-24 ADA is what will probably be at this point funded at next year, and then in 24-25 25-26. I mean, we're supposed to jump from like 220 TK students to 400, so that's a big jump, and again, they don't, their ADA doesn't reflect maybe a middle schooler or a high schooler's ADA, but it's still quite a bit, and we're, planning for that. I'll talk more about this, but just so you have it in your head, when we're increasing enrollment, especially for TK, we're also increasing staff. So I got to make those projections as well. This year, or for next year alone, we're looking at least 5 more teachers, 5 FTE. I think I made that note in the report, but 5 FTE of new staff. So, that could be $500,000. Anyway, I always like to say this, and I have this in most of my reports, but estimating uncertainty, no matter what we use to project, will be incorrect. So just graphically, our health and welfare projected costs, again, this is something we don't really have control over, right? You know, we have vendors that we use to help us get the best rates possible, but we pay 85% of what it costs to provide those benefits to our employees for the most part. And in just 10 years, it's gone from $8.4 million to a projected $13.7 million of our budget in 25-26. All right, so I could cruise through these. Our revenues are 78 million unrestricted, 97.5 million combined. That's what it looks like graphically. I think it's safe to say, you know, I'd like to thank everyone that helped with the parcel tax, but, you know, one thing I would have had to include in this budget for the multi-year projection would be, if it didn't pass, I may not, you know, the county may not have let me count that revenue in our multi-year projection, but I feel pretty good about it at this point. So, all good news. We have about $61 million in unrestricted expenditures and a total of 100.7, 100.8 million of combined. And again, we've received quite a bit of the one-time money, which is, you know, if you take a look at the difference between, you know, $97 million in revenue combined general fund and $100 million of expenditures, that just means we've received some of that money already. We're spending down our restricted reserve, which is, you know, normal and what we need to do. Again, these are just graphic illustrations of what I just reiterated. So some of the big changes, like I said, in revenue, the LCFF funding, the adjustment to the ADA based on our P1 ADA, and our UPP percentage, which actually for the year was about 50%, which I was happy to see. Our UPP percentage that we get funded on is based on a 3-year rolling average, so we're still under the 50% in that average, but it's encouraging that, you know, maybe we're getting the people to report, you know, getting our community to report that drives this funding, right? Lottery, you know, I think I update you on most of these numbers throughout the months, but we did make a change to lottery based on current assumptions, and then other local revenue includes quite a bit of interest income that was not planned for. You know, we're making. You have the quarterly report there in your in the board packet today, but you know, anywhere from, you know, almost 2% on some of the money that we have in the bank, so that's making a difference. You know, a lot of these gains are offset by the next part of the spreadsheet, which is salaries and benefits. You know, we've added some positions. Counseling support at the high school comes to mind. Salary schedule movement was quite a bit this year, which just means, you know, when people turn in their professional development for the summer, we backdate their movement on schedule in October or after October. So it takes a minute for us to catch up with that. And, you know, no surprise, but our special ed costs are increasing. You know, we have over 1,000 kids identified with a special ed moniker, and with that comes costs, and all those costs are increasing. So, we contribute almost $15 million to the restricted budget or special ed, for special ed, and then 1.7 for routine restricted maintenance. So all that said, for this year, our budget's looking great. The addition, the change in the ADA and the UPP percentage actually increased our revenue, as you saw earlier, over almost $700,000. We are now not going to deficit spend this year on paper to the tune of almost $500,000. That commitment for the tech infrastructure equipment is going to happen this year, and that check will be written, so that'll hit our budget. But we still have about 10%. We'll have about 10% left after this year.
On that 10% does include one-time funds still, right, that we haven't finished spending?
That does not go into the reserve percentage,
Okay.
actually. That's restricted dollars.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm giving you the highlights, as I always say. The numbers are in this package, and the assumptions that we use to create the multi-year projection. But so for this year, we're not going to deficit spend, but based on our ADA projections, which are conservative, and increased staffing, which is also conservative. I don't know exactly what that looks like yet, and it changes all the time. We're meeting with sites. We've been meeting with sites all last week and this week, and there are decisions to make based on how the numbers fall out by grade, by school, by grade level, whatever, and we staff pretty tightly, but we may have to staff more at certain sites where it makes sense. So we plan to deficit spend as, again, given our current assumptions in the next 2 years, but at the end of those 2 years or 3 years, we still maintain our minimum of 3%. And that's, again, below the line. We have some money that we've set aside, if that's what we wind up doing still, for future compensation adjustments. So, any questions? I mean, that's the bulk of the report. I mean, it's not good news, right? We knew this going in. I was prepping you that the revenues, what's being put into the local control funding formula, are going to be less, and it made a difference. It's about $2 million a year that compounds, and we're seeing that here. Just for fun, I made a made a graph of what a 5-year comparison looks like. So the yellow line or the white line, maybe, I'm not sure, is the current year. Left of that are the prior years, 2 prior years, and right of that line is the projected 2 years of this multi-year projection. And that's revenues, and that's expenditures. And you can see, salaries just continue to go up, benefits in all cases, and services and operating expenditures all are going to continue to rise. And before I finish, I wanted to include a couple months ago, I think we had a question about what the district pays for athletics. And you can see it's broken out here. It's no small amount. Athletic directors, we have one at each secondary school. supplies officials, league fees, and transportation. You know, the difference between the sites is what's needed there. You know, it's like that equity, the equity conversation. We provide more to Technology Middle School because they have a hard time raising money for those things. They don't even have boosters, if I'm not mistaken. And same, you know, Tech High School is a small high school that offers quite a bit of sports programs, sports programming. You know, it does come down to, a lot of it does come down to transportation, and the cost of transportation is a lot. But you know, all in all, it's about $600,000 that's contained in our budget that we provide to athletics, and that's not including, like, you know, what it costs to clean the tag building and the stadium and that kind of thing, and or to provide the power to run this building and all those things. So anyway, that's the breakdown of what that runs through our books for athletics for the district.
John, all of that is CRP USD money. That's not booster money.
Correct.
That they're okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. Cash flow, we're good. Again, we've received quite a bit of one-time money that helps keep keep cash in our bank. You know, and the areas of financial concern today and the future are things I always talk about. Enrollment and ADA. ADA obviously drives our funding for the most part. And you know, what's included in this budget are pretty conservative numbers. We're starting to see some improvement in our average daily attendance, but I don't want to get too excited or assume too much. Stirs and PERS and COLA, technology, you know, we're starting to run out of money on where we've paid for technology, so you know, we have to really have to prioritize what how we want to do things. Just the increases in the general cost of doing business, I mean, that's something we keep hearing about everywhere. Special ed costs, we are in, if no one else will stay it, we are in a state of federal economic downturn. And we're seeing the ramifications of that. I don't know if I actually wrote it in my narrative, but you know, there are a lot of assumptions that are being made on how the state is going to be able to pay for their budget, and you know, it's getting worse. It's ugly out there. And then future collective bargaining. All right, so you know, at this point, given these assumptions, we're able to meet our current financial obligations in this year and the subsequent 2 years, so I would like to self-certify us as positive, and I don't think we'll hear too much from the county around that certification. Any questions? Oh, that's the same.
Any questions? All right.
Sweet.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the second interim report as of January 30th, 2024?
All motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Next is the initial proposal from Service Employees International Unit for the successor to the 2021-2024 contract. Yep, no worries.
Are we skipping 12C?
Oh, we'll do that too. Let's go back to 12C. Approval of school safety plans.
Thank you. We ask that the board approve our 2023-2024 school safety plans. We have them here. Our district developed district-wide emergency preparedness and safety plan based on the requirements of the state, and they're annually updated and reviewed by the district. They cover, it's updated annually. It has two sections. The first is site-specific information that the site completes, emergency phone numbers, resources, all of those types of things. drill schedules, evacuation plans, all of those types of things to make sure our kids are safe. And then the section 2 has general information, responses of school personnel emergency checklists and those types of things. And we keep all of this, we review it, keep it in a binder at the district office, and continue to practice those plans at each site to make sure our kids are safe.
Great.
Part of it, and some of it keeps, we keep in the binder at the district to avoid having those things public. Like, we don't want to let everybody in the world know what our evacuation plans are, which directions people go, and things like that. So we keep those things private, but we do publish the.
I add just a little something to this. The contract that we approved today with North Bay Security, they will be providing us with some support in practicing, training people and practicing our drills. So that's the work of North Bay to make sure that these are operationalized.
You know, one other thing that I'll add is that next year on our kickoff day, we're going to spend a significant amount of time with each site practicing their drills and making sure that all of our safety supplies and emergency procedures are in place and order. We just want to be really overly cautious and make sure we're real well prepared for any kind of emergencies that happen.
Great. Any other questions or discussion? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the school safety plans?
So move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence. Now we will go to the initial proposal from Service Employees International Union for the successor to the 21 to 24 contract.
So yes, we will be, these are the articles that they are sunshining, and we will be entering into negotiations with SEIU, and I would imagine CSCA will be following shortly.
Great. And both of those unions have also shown interest in doing the IBB.
Yes, they have. So we're very excited about that. And the support staff for SEIU was at the training as well. So yes, thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve the initial proposal from Service Employees International Union for the successor to the 21-24 contract?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 1 absence. Future business and agenda items. Trustee Johnson.
And thank you.
Trustee Nelson.
None at this time, thank you.
Trustee Martin.
Pass.
All right. We will see everyone at the next meeting on April 16th. This meeting is adjourned at 8 o'clock.